Oh my god, Singapore Bazi is going through Fanging. Thanks for watching this video. This is Master Zhou Qing. So today I'm going to discuss with you the topic on Fanging and Fu Yin. And of course I'm going to bring in Singapore Bazi as the case study. Now, one of the secret golden verses that is going to be revealed right now is actually this one. In Chinese we say 反迎相见是灭绝，浮影相见泪淋淋. Let me translate to English. It says that Fanging into your chart is exterminating, Fu Yin with your chart is saddening. Alright? There's a shorter version that we often quote it in class. We say in Chinese, Fanging, Fu Yin, crying event. So the Chinese word here is 反迎 Fu Yin, 哭泣淋淋. So, Fanging, Fu Yin, what exactly are they? Of course, I'm going to address them shortly. But usually when you go through Fanging and Fu Yin, you will get very emotional. Okay, let me show you what is Fu Yin. So, assuming this is a person's Bazi. Okay, so this is the natal, the natal chart. This one is the day pillar, Yi You. So, this person will go through a Fu Yin year when another, when he go through that year, he actually sees a duplication of his day pillar. Like in this case, he is Yi You. So, in the year 2005, which has actually already passed, he would have gone through a Fu Yin year. So, Fu Yin can come in usually in the form of annual luck pillar. Of course, it can come in through luck cycle as well. Okay, but of course, one of the more painful moment will be when it's coming in from the luck pillar. Next, let's talk about Fanging. So, using back the same chart, Yi You. Now, Fanging, first of all, is more of a countering relationship at the heavenly stems as well as the earthly branches level. So at the heavenly stem level, you have the Sing metal countering into the Yi wood. So you need to take note that both are actually of the same polarity, Yin and Yin. And at the earthly branches level, you will see that it is usually a 6 direct clash. Chinese we say 六冲. So, in this instance, it is a You Mao clash. And of course, there are other 6 clashes. For example, you have the Zi Wu Cong, which is the rat and the horse. You have the Chen Xu Cong, that means the between the dog and the dragon. Then you have the Chou Wei, the ox and the goat. You have the Si Hai, the pig, as well as the so-called the snake. So all this you have to go and find out. In this instance, it's the rooster and the rabbit. So this one forms a Fanging. Okay, and this year is actually 2011. So this person, when he enters 2011, okay, he has to be actually mindful. Of course, if he knows Bazi, he will be quite mentally prepared for it. Nevertheless, in this instance, normally we will still go through some emotional event, painful moment. Okay, well, the intensity varies from people to people. Okay, and what type of events that's going to happen, it really depends on the 10 god that's involved. Of course, this is more at the high level analysis, but the tips is very easy. You look at what are the 10 god involved, so that will give you some hints. So every person will go through 1 time Fu Yin in his life, as well as 2 times Fanging. So this is 1 Fanging. The other Fanging for this person was in 1999 when there was this Yi wood countering the Ji earth. Okay, but at the branch level, it is still the same, the You Mao clash, like this. So in Chinese, we call this the Tian Ke Di Chong. Alright, usually it's quite impactful because there is a clash involved. But of course, like what I say, it really depends on from person to person how you actually face challenges, how you actually take the pain. Some people can have high threshold, but some people, they actually broke down easily. So now I actually want to talk about Singapore's Bazi, but before we go into the details, let me just show you. Singapore became independent on 9 August 1965, 10 a.m. Why 10 a.m. I'll show you shortly. Alright, so we celebrate our National Day on this day, 9 August, every year. You see, 10 a.m. because it was based on some reliable sources. Okay, Singapore separates from Malaysia and becomes independent on this day, and it was announced on radio, publicly declared that we are independent. So we use this Bazi. And before I go into finding Fu Yin about Singapore's chart, just want to talk about something interesting, some observation to share with you. You see, Singapore is a Yi Wei day pillar, that means it's a Yi wood. Interestingly, in this chart, you will see that there's no resource star at all. That means, what is resource star? Resource star is a star that produces the day master, the Yi wood. So in this case, resource star is water. But there's no water element. Okay, let's forget about the subqi because it's not really useful in our teaching. There isn't any resource star. So you see, Singapore is actually started off as a very small, small country with not much resources. In fact, all our resources are all the human capital. Okay, so we have to most of the time depend on ourselves. We don't have water element. So this is also very interesting because we really cannot produce enough water for our own. And we have to buy water from our neighbor like Malaysia since day one. So that's why we treat water very, very precious in Singapore. So do not waste water. And Singapore belongs to the DO structure. So DO structure is very law-abiding. As you can see from Singapore, we are actually a fine country, a fine city. Okay, fine has double meaning. So we like to issue summons and fine. Okay, because we enforce our law very religiously. We don't even allow you to chew gum. And if you make serious mistake, you'll still be caned. Alright, and Sen is also the 贵人 because based on the 天意贵人 poem, 一己属猴香. That means the 天意贵人 here is the rat as well as the monkey. And Singapore, the day master sits on indirect wealth, so you can say that money and business driven. And you know that the government, in fact, run this entire country like Singapore Inc., run the nation like a big corporation. Friend stars are very important because this chart belongs to a weak chart and we rely heavily on overseas friends like overseas countries. That's why we go all the way out to make friends with almost every country. We actually depend heavily on our diplomatic ties to survive and of course to bring us from the third world to first world. Okay, so interestingly, you can see that these are the points that gel in with the characteristic of the chart. Now, what is the most recent Fu Yin for Singapore? The most recent Fu Yin that has passed is actually 2015. So make a guess what happened in 2015. I think most of us will never forget this day because it is a year that our founding father, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, actually passed away. Alright, so it's a Fu Yin for the entire nation. A lot of us are very, very saddened by his passing. In fact, during the sending off for cremation, the heaven actually rained, It's just like the heaven cried for all of us, for the nation. And everybody was very emotional. Everybody pay respect, queue up, forms a very long queue to pay respect to him. So this entire, 2015 was very, very so-called very memorable in this sense. Okay. Now, what is the next funding for Singapore? Okay, the next Fanging means 天克地冲. Just to recap. So what will counter into the stem and the branch? It will be 2021 coming up next year, 辛丑 year. Okay, because the metal countering and the ox actually form a direct clash with the goat. So we shall wait and see what's going to happen next year. And of course, with the COVID virus, the pandemic situation right now, next year, definitely there's going to be something that's going to happen. All right, so we will wait and see from a country luck perspective what's going to happen. And currently, actually, when I plot this chart, I realized that Singapore is going through the luck cycle. There's also forming a 天克地冲, you know, clash. Sorry, this is supposed to be countering. Clash again. Started from where? Started from around age 49. You ask me, how come I choose to use this luck cycle for lady? Because I think I make some assumption that like how we address the sheep, we call it her, we call it she, we actually relate them to a woman, because the country is like kun, you know, because it's our homeland. So land is kun kwa. So that's my logic. You can correct me if I'm wrong, alright? So 己丑 is the current luck cycle that we have entered. And coincidentally, that was only like 5 to 6 years ago. After the passing of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, we actually, or during the same year, we actually entered this luck cycle. Okay, of course, it's not going to be a very smooth sailing luck cycle, quite bumpy. Okay, in fact, you will see that I just sidetrack a bit. From the 悬空六法 point of view, the Feng Shui point of view, in 2017, we actually transit into period number 9 based on the two cycle 8 period calculation. Okay, because I teach 悬空六法. So for Singapore, our water mouth is in the south. That's not very favorable to us also. Okay. So right now, we are in the Fan Yin luck cycle. That is quite bumpy. And later on, we will end and go into the new luck cycle at 59. Nevertheless, 59 Feng Yin also forms a 天克地冲 with the month. So let's observe what's going to happen later on. Alright? So this is luck cycle Fan Yin with day pillar. Now, what's the implication, of course, if this is on you? This means what happens if you look at your own chart. Then you are going through, you are next year or this year, you're going through Fan Yin on Fu Yin. What is the implication if this is on you? Of course, besides that, what about this term called Shui Yun Jiao Zhan? That means Tai Shui battles luck cycle, like this. This one is an example. Like for example, this is actually I'm using Gurmit Singh, a local actor chart. So during this luck cycle, the annual luck Xing Si actually came in 2001 to have a countering. That means in this instance, it is the luck pillar. Tai Shui is the annual luck pillar that counter into the luck cycle. So this is also dangerous. Okay, but what does it mean? What happened to Gurmit Singh? Okay, I will actually talk about this in my Golden Verse video, the latest one on luck cycle. Now, one more thing. What about this term called 岁运并临? Tai Shui coincides with luck cycle. I'm using Warren Buffett case study in my course. So at age 73 to 83, 壬辰. Then 2012 also 壬辰. Most of us are only aware about the how Fan Yin Fu Yin come in to disturb our natal chart. But what about the annual luck Tai Shui come in to disturb your luck cycle? It is also a big thing. So I will not mention here because many of them have purchased my latest Golden Verse video, the course, okay, on luck cycles. So if you want, you enroll in it. Okay, I'll give you the details very, very soon. So something happened to Warren Buffett that year. Alright, so this is the latest 八字 Golden Verses on luck cycles prediction. Okay, you can actually log in. I'll give you the address shortly to read up. And these are the golden verse that we actually will be discussing in this so-called golden verse course. Like, inauspicious luck cycle produces 100 trouble. Auspicious annual luck removes 1,000 calamity. So you compare between luck cycle and annual luck pillar. What happens if one is good, one is bad, and the other way around? What is the outcome, you know? Do they cancel off each other? We will discuss that. And finding Fu Yin, alright, as mentioned. 3 punishment meets with clash. What happened that year come in to form 3 punishment on your chart? Then golden verse number 4. What happened if your kins enter graveyard? Like your spouse star enter graveyard, what does it mean? Your mother star enter graveyard, what does it mean? Then when God break, what is God break? Clashes with Tai Sui, it is disastrous. I'll show you a lot of case study here. Eating God year meets indirect resource, money will be dissipated. Hurting officer, see officer, nothing but trouble. I will show you real cases. Weak resource enter wealth flood, 1 worries for the mother. Of course, we will also talk about what happens if it's a wealth star enters friends or rock wealth luck. A lady who finds difficulty in getting married, the luck must be against husband. So what is this luck? Because you will tend to get friends that come and ask you, how come until today I still cannot get married? So you got to check the luck cycle. We'll discuss this. And when one forms a 3 combo with luck cycle and annual luck, one will get married or see romance. And I will, of course, I will also share with you what are the other 5 telltale signs to talk about being attached or getting married. How do you know if someone will prosper during luck cycle? This one, of course, we'll talk about stars like authority, resource star. How do you know if someone keeps prospering? The same. Resource enters ground of wealth, unbeneficial for court official. Okay, of course, I remember that I actually used some famous politician from Indonesia, like Ahok, as well as Gordon Brown to illustrate. And the last one, very, very interesting. Everybody also got your wealth vault. You must go and find out what's yours, because you just need to wait for the time to come and clash. You get rich. So these are actually trade secret. Alright, so these are not exhaustive, but some of the celebrities chart that I'm going to use it. And this is our Singapore First Lady President. So let's take a look at her Bazi and compare with her luck cycle to tell you how come she can be the first so-called lady president. Okay, and in Singapore history. Before that, she was the first male speaker of the parliament. And why is she having a meteoric rise? Because of the luck cycle. I'll show you. Okay? And I'm going to talk about Joe Biden chart. And this year, incidentally, of course, coincidentally, it is the US election. So do you think he will win based on his party or Donald Trump? We shall discuss this. I had actually put up his case in the course. Okay? And you can enroll yourself. Of course, we have already launched many other Bazi golden verses. If you are interested, quickly secure them, because we are going to revise the fee upwards to 138 USD very soon, by end of the month. Okay, so the address to go to, fengshuisuperstar.com. Okay, so this is just the main page of the website. Remember, fengshuisuperstar.com. If you are keen, you can come and join me at my Facebook fan page, Master Joe Ching. I will always post something like feng shui tips, Bazi tips, 奇门遁甲 tips, etc. Alright, if you got any question, please come and email us. Okay, about our services, our courses, or anything you are not sure. Alright, and this is my website. Thank you very much for watching this video.